Today, some good rounds, some good takedowns on my part, some good clean ones, and some really good inverting into leg locks. I have to be really careful about how I pass guard now, because if I stand up I get leg locked, and being on my knees doesn't give me enough mobility to pass the guard, so I end up having to use a little more strength. It's tough to move on the knees. The hand fighting is really good, and any shots I don't set up properly do not work anymore. Really good takedowns defense right here. Great read and a little bit of a counter. I thought I would be able to get you there with that long distance shot, but really good defense. Really good defense here, making sure I can't grab the legs. Really good posture, and I was just being very heavy on the collar tie, reading your reaction. No openings. Just an easy double tricep setup. Yeah, that's a good one that I'm gonna be looking for a lot, because it comes off of outside position, and as the defender you don't really feel like you're in danger with that double tricep grip, but comparing it with that upward movement and the level change makes it powerful. So at this point, I was a little bit gassed from the wrestling. So I wanted to use a little more isometric strength to hold our position a little bit. And I was actually looking for body locks from here. So I knew that you would fight a little bit with your hands, and maybe it would give me a chance to swim in. But you did a really good job today protecting that space, and I couldn't get a good body lock on you. And then a really good response to the body lock is the close guard or K guard, and you got there a couple of times. Also, I was really stymied today by this particular position, this knee shield. It's such a good position because depending on how you move, I have to respond. I can't really put pressure into you. The knee shield was really good for you today, and then this close guard was really good for you today. Really good strategies. So this is the closest I got to a pass in this sequence, and it was really about that fake knee cut into a bit of a Toriando. From here, I should have been a little more aggressive, diving into a body lock, but the recovery was too good. Back into this knee shield, right? Hard to pass. So many options for you, and I have to be so careful. So the real dilemma is this, it's the omoplata armbar pressure. I have to posture out and to close guard, and then there are inversions and triangles. If I try and stand up, you get underneath me. If I try and use my posture down to use pressure, I get triangled or armbarred. It's a dilemma. And this was just brilliant here, going from the leg attack to the sweep. Then you saw the opening right to the back. That kind of back gift wrap Kimura grip, oh so good. And then flatten me out even though I was trying to get away from you. And then just the reading and responding, just beautiful. Just a great response to the shoulder cut. I go for that heavy whizzer pressure into the back take and the arm bar. Really excellent transition. Shuts down that shoulder cut, but I almost had it there for a second. Just a little MMA Peterson roll just to get on top. And then some good recovery work from you on this part here. Even though I thought I had you in a good side control position, I maybe should have swam up into your crossface a little more, but just great recovery here. one of the best moves of the day, this inversion into that far side 50-50. And then the sweep into this weighted position. Man, you went in behind me, got into weighted position on this side, and then finished with the heel hook here. Just 3 or 4 steps ahead of my movement. So one point of emphasis I'm trying to work on these days is a little more mindless movement. And that's really hard because already from here, you saw that I was going for arm drags. And then I'm being very conscious in these movements, and I wish I could move a little more mindlessly. I sold out for this punch choke, put myself into a bad position, but you responded beautifully. I think if I had a little more leverage, I might have been able to finish that punch choke, but then this movement, putting this leg in front of me, was the move that ended the sequence because you're able to get into a really good leg locking position. Yeah, that move. And then from here, it's just a matter of time. So slowing this down, there's a moment where you go for my leg and there's a space between my arm where you can duck your head in behind me. So I think that is going to be the answer to that particular throw, is making space in between my armpit and my arm and ducking your head underneath and just taking my back. Because if you do that, even if I try and throw you, you're going to end up on my back. So from here, I was being a little more aggressive with my passing, trying to keep your legs together. And I get to a little bit of a checkpoint, and then I engage a little bit of a cradle. I pass into north-south, attack a north-south choke, and then you do the best move of the day. I'll slow it down to show you. It's a little bit of a north-south recovery, and just really technical jiu-jitsu coming up here. This is honestly a pretty slick attack sequence on my part. I cradle, then I let the legs go, and I go for a north-south choke. But you defend really well by putting frames in, and then there's this frame and recovery by putting your legs in that is so good. Some more aggressive passing, but again, when I'm hunched over and postured down this low, my neck is so vulnerable, and you threw up just the perfect little choke here. So sick, man. Such a sick little choke. Great stuff takedown, and then a little cradle action of your own after some good avoidance. And then from here, I had to use pretty much all of my strength and my guile in order to get out of this position. Just excellent transitions, staying on top, making sure your weight is on top of me, making sure my hips are isolated onto the ground, and then the consistent choke threat. After the escape, the only thing that I felt that I could do to get a submission today is fall back on these leg locks. From here, my main idea is to get pressure behind your knees. So when you raise your legs, it actually helps me because I can then slide underneath you. That's what I'm looking for. And then from here, I'm looking for ankle grips and purchase with the legs. You're good about avoiding heel hooks. So the thing that I need to work on is this ankle lock. It's hard to disengage after I have that grip. And then I'm looking for external rotation of the knee and belly down pressure for finishes. A little bit of a weirder lock behind the knees, but it's really just about that behind knee pressure. From here, it's really hard for you to move. And eventually I get a tight, deep grip onto the ankle and I turn belly down. Good work this week. Bit of a cheap shot at the end. Great training though. Some slick maneuvers today. I'll see you next week.